character. It's the foundation of a meaningful life, right? Well, not quite. Today we're discussing how an ancient Tamil poet's wisdom on character may actually be more relevant in our modern world than ever before.
That's an intriguing perspective. Who's this ancient poet you're referring to?
We're talking about Thiruvalluvar, a Tamil poet who lived over 2,000 years ago. His teachings on good character are surprisingly applicable to our fast-paced digital age. It's like he had a crystal ball or something.
Well, that's fascinating. What exactly does Thiruvalluvar say about character that's so timeless?
So, get this, Thiruvalluvar essentially argues that good character is the most valuable asset a person can possess. More than wealth, more than education, more than anything else. He goes as far as to say it's the foundation of all success and respect in life.
That's a bold claim. In today's world, we often prioritize material success or academic achievements. How does Thiruvalluvar's perspective challenge our modern values?
That's a great question. Thiruvalluvar's teachings remind us that while external achievements are important, they're ultimately hollow, without a strong foundation of character. He emphasizes that we should take great care in developing our character because it's the key to being seen as a person of integrity.
I can see the logic there. Our actions and behaviors are what people ultimately judge us by, right? But does he offer any practical advice on how to develop good character?
Well, while he doesn't provide a step-by-step guide, Thiruvalluvar does stress the importance of consistent good behavior. He warns that bad behavior can lead to a loss of reputation and respect. Even if you're well educated, if you don't behave well, you'll be considered unwise. It's like, having a fancy car but not knowing how to drive it.
That's a sobering thought. It reminds me of the saying, actions speak louder than words. How does Thiruvalluvar connect good character to relationships?
Oh, he takes it a step further by linking good character to positive relationships. He suggests that good character forms a strong foundation for building meaningful connections with others. Think about it, we're naturally drawn to people we can trust and respect. Those qualities are often rooted in good character.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm thinking about my own relationships now and how the strongest ones are with people I consider to have integrity and good character.
Exactly. And on the flip side, Thiruvalluvar warns that bad behavior inevitably leads to problems in relationships. It's a simple cause and effect scenario that we've all probably experienced at some point. Like, have you ever had a relationship strained because of someone's poor behavior?
Oh, absolutely. I think we've all been on both sides of that equation. We've likely all had relationships strained by someone's poor behavior, and maybe we've been that person with poor behavior at times too. It's humbling to think about.
You're right, it is humbling. But that's the beauty of Thiruvalluvar's teachings. They remind us that we're all capable of both good and bad behavior, and it's our responsibility to strive for good character consistently. It's not about perfection, but about making a conscious effort to be better.
So, to sum it up, Thiruvalluvar is essentially saying that good character is the key to success and earning respect from others. It's interesting how this ancient wisdom aligns with many modern self-help philosophies. Do you think it's still as relevant today as it was 2,000 years ago?
Well, I'd argue it's even more relevant today. In our interconnected world where information spreads instantly and reputations can be made or broken in a moment, good character is more crucial than ever. It's like, your personal brand, but on a much deeper level.
That's a fascinating modern application of his wisdom. In an era of personal branding and social media presence, we're constantly projecting an image of ourselves to the world. Thiruvalluvar's teachings suggest that the best brand we can cultivate is simply being a person of good character.
Exactly. It's not about crafting a perfect online persona, but about genuinely embodying good character in our day-to-day lives. This authenticity is something that people can sense, both online and offline. It's what builds trust and respect over time.
I'm curious, though. In a world that often seems to reward cutthroat behavior and prioritize personal gain over integrity, is there still a place for this kind of thinking?
That's a great question and a common concern. I think Thiruvalluvar would argue that good character is always relevant and always rewarded in the long run. While we might see examples of people achieving short-term success through questionable means, lasting success and respect come from consistent good character. It's about playing the long game.
That's a comforting thought. It's easy to get discouraged when we see bad behavior being rewarded, but this perspective reminds us to focus on long-term outcomes rather than short-term gains.
Right, and it's not just about external rewards. Living with integrity and good character can bring a sense of personal satisfaction and peace that's hard to quantify, but incredibly valuable. There's something to be said for being able to sleep well at night, knowing you've acted with integrity.
That's true. I've certainly experienced that sense of peace when I know I've done the right thing, even if it was difficult. But how do we maintain that focus on character in a world full of temptations and shortcuts?
Well, it's a constant practice for sure. Thiruvalluvar's teachings aren't about being perfect. They're about striving to be better, to cultivate good habits, and to treat others with respect. It's a daily commitment to making ethical choices, even when no one is watching.
That's an important distinction. It's not about never making mistakes, but about consistently trying to do the right thing and learning from our missteps. It's about progress, not perfection.
Absolutely. And in that spirit, maybe we can challenge our listeners to reflect on their own character. What aspects of their behavior align with Thiruvalluvar's teachings? Where might there be room for improvement? It's a powerful exercise in self-awareness and growth.
That's a great idea. It's always valuable to take time for self-reflection. And maybe we can encourage them to think about the people in their lives who exemplify good character. What can they learn from these individuals?
Excellent suggestion. It's often easier to recognize good character in others before we see it in ourselves. By identifying and learning from positive role models, we can work on improving our own character. It's like having a living example of Thiruvalluvar's teachings right in front of us.
This conversation has given me a lot to think about. It's amazing how wisdom from over 2,000 years ago can still be so applicable to our lives today. Are there any other insights from Thiruvalluvar that you find particularly relevant?
One thing that stands out is his emphasis on the ripple effect of our actions. He suggests that our character doesn't just affect us, but it influences our entire community. In today's interconnected world, that idea is more relevant than ever. Our actions, both good and bad, can have far-reaching consequences.
That's a powerful perspective. It really underscores the responsibility we have, not just to ourselves, but to society as a whole. How do you think this applies to leadership in particular?
Great question. I think Thiruvalluvar would argue that good character is absolutely essential for effective leadership. A leader with strong character inspires trust, motivates others to be their best selves, and creates a positive culture. In contrast, a leader lacking in character can demoralize an entire organization.
So in essence, by focusing on our own character, we're not just improving our own lives, but potentially influencing countless others. That's a pretty motivating thought.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that our individual choices matter more than we might think. Every time we choose integrity over expediency or kindness over self-interest, we're contributing to a better world. It's the cumulative effect of these choices that shapes our society.
That's beautifully put. It makes me think about how we can incorporate this wisdom into our daily lives. Do you have any practical suggestions for our listeners?
Well, one approach could be to start each day with a simple question. How can I demonstrate good character today? It could be through small acts of kindness, being honest even when it's difficult, or standing up for what's right. Over time, these small actions build into a strong foundation of character.
I love that idea. It's a simple yet powerful way to keep character at the forefront of our minds. And I imagine that, like any habit, it gets easier with practice.
Exactly. It's about building those neural pathways, so to speak. The more we consciously choose to act with good character, the more natural it becomes. And as Thiruvalluvar suggests, the rewards both internal and external will follow.
This conversation has been incredibly enlightening. It's a reminder that while our world has changed dramatically over the millennia, human nature and the basics of positive interaction haven't changed all that much.
That's the beauty of timeless wisdom. Whether it's from ancient Tamil literature or modern self-help books, the fundamental principles of good character and integrity remain constant. It's a testament to the universality of these ideas.
It certainly is. And on that note, how would you summarize the key takeaways from Thiruvalluvar's teachings for our listeners?
I'd say the main points are: first, good character is the most valuable asset we can possess. Second, it's the foundation for all meaningful success and relationships. Third, it's something we need to consciously cultivate every day. And finally, the impact of our character extends far beyond ourselves, influencing our entire community.
Those are powerful insights. It's a lot to reflect on, but also incredibly motivating. It makes me want to be more mindful of my own character and how it affects those around me.
That's exactly the kind of reflection Thiruvalluvar would encourage. And on that note, let's wrap up today's episode. We've explored Thiruvalluvar's teachings on the importance of good character, its impact on our relationships and success, and how we can apply this ancient wisdom to our modern lives.
It's been a fascinating discussion. To our listeners, we encourage you to reflect on your own character